about some young'uns. They promise to be the same. That's what the big game's all about. It happens every year. We lose a few of our heroes, but find others who know no fear. We see them give it all they know. We see them give it their best shot. Whether unknown or famous, you gotta give it all you got. That season was a good one. We saw a big man walking tall. But who will it be this year to collect the greatest prize of all?
Yeah. Well, good afternoon and welcome to Hilton Park, Leigh, for this afternoon's Grunhaller Lancashire Cup clash. Saints out there in the new strip. There's a new reserve strip. All white with the blue V. Plenty of attention here for this game. A good crowd here with Saints midweek signing Stuart Evans on view. Just signed midweek, Wednesday or Thursday, and straight out today in Saints' first team. Well, I'll just go through the teams for you now. Saints first, of course, number 1 Vevers, 2 Large, 3 Lachlan, 4 Dave Tanner, 5 McCormick, 6 Mark Elia, 7 Holding, 8 Stuart Evans, debutant, number 9 Dave Harrison, 10 Paul Farber, 11 Sean Allen, 12 Roy Haggerty, 13 Chris Arkwright. Substitutes for today, number 14 Paul Doherty and 15 Paul Jones. Well, Leigh team just coming onto the field now. Number 1 Johnson, 2 McCulloch, 3 Henderson, 4 Jeffrey, 5 Standish, 6 Kerr, 7 Ford, 8 Dave Evans, number 9 Dean, 10 Gelling, 11 Pike, 12 Dunn, 13 Atherton. Substitutes for Leigh, number 14 Phil Johnson and 15 Andy Collier. Today's referee is Mr Spencer from Warrington. It's a fine day here at Hilton Park. A big change from last week, both here and at Nosey Road, torrential rain, but Saints came through unscathed last week with a 31 points to 16 win over Hull KR, and Leigh beat Castleford convincingly here, 14 points to 6. Only the week before at Castleford in the opening match of the season, Saints unfortunately lost by 20 points to 10, and as I said, Leigh beat Castleford here at Hilton Park last week, so a psychological advantage to Leigh, with them winning last week against Saints' first match opponents. But both captains out there with referee Spencer. Leigh, Derek Pike, captain, and Saints' Chris Arkwright. So it's all changed, we're changing round, with Leigh playing to the scoreboard end. Well, this Stuart Evans, big signing from Neath Rugby Union, the World Cup tourist, in this year's tour down under for the Rugby Union, weighing in at around about 18 stone. So a giant prop forward. Let's see what he can do. I would imagine he'll be deadly near the line. Anyway, Saints to kick off. Neil Holding to start the game. Kicks deep, ball gathered by number 7 Mike Ford, and Leigh there. Saints quickly in. Good solid tackling from the Saints, and referee Spencer. Ruling a scrum, I think. Obviously an infringement there. The linesman here with his flag up, so the touch judge, the ball must have gone in touch. The first feed, Neil Holding comes away with it. On to Mark Elia, stepping up to stand off today. So Saints on the attack, 30 yards from Leigh try line. And moving it to the right, the ball with Chris Arkwright. Tries to create the gap, solid Leigh tackling, bundle him down. Saints bringing it left now, Neil Holding. On to big Stuart Evans. Three-man tackle of Leigh, bring him down. Dave Harrison acting half-back, bringing it left. Onto Neil Holding, inside pass to Paul Farber. Looking for support. There's Stuart Evans again, driving forward. Brought down on the Leigh 25. Saints still on the attack, taking it right. And I think he's penalised her for not playing the ball correctly. So the first penalty goes to Leigh. Chris Arkwright, Saints captain, just querying the decision with referee Spencer. But it's the first penalty of the game to Leigh. Fine touch just short of the halfway line. It's number 9, Dean, to play the ball onto 10, Brian Gelling, ex-Saint Gelling. Good solid tackling from Saints to Paul Farber and Dave Harrison. Obviously the Leigh crowd don't like it, but Saints penalised her for an offside decision at the play the ball. So further relief for Leigh, and so he's stepping up to have a go for goal. Chris Johnson, Leigh's prolific goal scorer. Well, it's going to be a hefty kick with the aid of a little breeze, I imagine. It's about 35 yards out, I would say, more or less directly in front of the posts. Saints are penalised for offside, and Chris Johnson stepping up to see if he can tag the points on for the penalty. There he goes, hit the post, go all on. And the ball, has it gone down? Yes, being ruled a knock-on there by Sean Allen. Gathered that ball, looks as though he kicked it from here, but referee Spencer on the job, and a scrum down ruled. So it's forward, Mike Ford to feed for Leigh. 20 yards from Saints try line. Leigh with the head and ball. Finally packed. Ball going with the feed. Quickly taken, I think that's the second row that's taken that. Quickly in there, but it's Leigh on the attack. Bringing it to the right. Short ball there from number 8, Dave Evans. For Leigh, so it's Leigh on the attack. Trying to put early points on the board. Onto Ford. Lofty pass over to number 2, Neil McCulloch. And he was in for a try in this right-hand corner. Neil McCulloch goes in there for the opening try after the 3rd minute. By ex-Saints coach Billy Benyon, who will be keen to put the nail in Saints' coffin today. So it's Chris Johnson lining up now, see if he can tag the extra points on. Just missed with that penalty conversion. But it goes to the left of the sticks there, so it's just 4 points to nil at present in Leigh's favour. That 3rd minute Neil McCulloch try. Quick movement of the ball there for Leigh. Big prop for them. Dave Evans bursting through, swung the ball up to this right wing, Neil McCulloch, and he scooted in at the corner. So it's Neil Holding to restart. Chris Johnson takes it on his own 25 and drives forward. Solid tackling from St. Roy Haggerty and Stuart Evans. I think it's Sean Allen it is, bundle him down. So Leigh driving in hard. Obviously want to get back in Saints' half. See if they can put further points on the board, but Paul Farber quickly in there. Solid tackle from this lad Farber with Chris Arkwright in support. But Leigh taking it left and a kick through by Mike Ford. What an awkward bounce there, eludes Dave Large. The ball goes into touch right on the Saints 25. Puts a scrum down right on the Saints 25. With Neil Holding to feed. Well, the scrum's not packing cleanly. Hookers can't get the head in. And Leigh finally penalised. Differential penalty. Paul Loughlin stepping up to kick for touch. Good kick from Loughlin, an awkward angle, finds touch 10 yards inside Leigh half, so it's Leigh on the attack. Dave Harrison stepping up, plays the ball. First man in, Chris Arkwright, going on his own. Trying to create the gap, unlucky there Chris Arkwright, but brought down by three-man Leigh tacklers. Dave Harrison again, Saints bringing it left. It's Roy Haggerty, passes the ball out one-handed, but it goes down. Leigh with the ball, and a good solid tackling from Saints, bring them down there, midway between the 25 and halfway in Leigh half. Paul Loughlin being spoken to by referee Spencer. Well, good solid tackling from Saints, nothing wrong with that tackle in my opinion, and referee Spencer bringing him out, and Leigh awarded the penalty. Touch found 10 yards inside Saints, 10 yards from Saints 25 I should say. Luke Lubu, Mike Ford, Brian Gelling, Paul Farber and Stuart Evans quickly in there. Dave Tanner coming up in support. But Saints lining out there, referee Spencer an eagle eye, but it's Leigh on the attack. Young Mike Ford in possession but brought down by Sean Allen. Back after injury, Sean Allen had an arm injury and Leigh spreading it left. Number 12, Brian Dunn, signing from Rochdale Hornets. It's Leigh again. Hooker, Dean working the run around. Dave Large safely gathers this time. As I said, Dave Large, a real speed merchant, so I'd just like to see him give him a chance on a clear run. But Leigh lying up there, and Saints unable to gain ground on the play of the ball. The ball now with Paul Farber. Leigh moving up rather quickly, not being penalised by referee Spencer. But Saints on the attack again. Stuart Evans driving forward. Plays the ball there, the ball back to Phil Beavers. Kicks upfield, but the ball straight into touch. And that's a penalty, that the ball going direct into touch. So it's a scrum down. And Leigh penalised again at the scrum. Quick play the ball by Neil Holding. And Saints are off onto Mark Elliott. Playing standoff today. That's the idea. Quick at the play of the ball. Well, now with Roy Haggerty. Solid tackling, bring him down. Leigh quickly up there, obviously got to close these Saints down early on, but Saints driving in well. Paul Farber that time, Sean Allen that time, I beg your pardon. Dave Harrison taking it right onto Neil Holding, Grubbers for touch, but doesn't make it, the ball directly in again, so we're going to be scrumming down on the halfway line with Mike Ford to feed for Leigh. And the tactical kicking not paying off at present, and 9 minutes gone so far, and the score still 4 points to nil to Leigh. And Spencer quickly in there. This time he penalises Saints. Another differential penalty going Leigh way. Going down in the scrum. Obviously legs across and enabling the ball to go in and being penalised for it. So Leigh with the aid of this breeze. Going down to the scoreboard end. Dean feeds on to number 8, Dave Evans. Arkwright and Farber quickly in there. But he just penetrates Saints 25. So it's Dean, Hooker for Leigh, spreading it right onto number 12, Brian Dunn. Haggerty and Mark Elliott quickly in there, so Leigh still in possession. Onto Derek Pike, Leigh captain, evergreen forward this lad. Usually plays prop, but it's up in the second row today. Well, now with Mike Ford, I should say. Beg your pardon. But Leigh pressing in Saints 25. Look, there's a drop goal coming up. It's to the right of the sticks, that is it. Well, he's signalled a goal. It looked to the right to me. So 10 minutes gone, and Johnson gets a drop goal and puts Leigh 5 points to nil in the lead. So Leigh putting the pressure on Saints. That's the idea, I suppose. When you get down the opponent's end and there's a chance of a score, well, you're going to take your chances, aren't you? And he did there, and they get the ball back. And this man coming through, the try scorer McCulloch, finally bundled down by Kevin McCormack. Dean taking the acting half-back, but Kevin McCormack in again with Dave Tanner. But it's Leigh in possession, spreading it left. Ryan Dunn now streaks through the Saints defence, second it left. Oh, super tackle there. Super tackle off Phil Beaver, stops the man, which a good block-busting run there from Leigh. But it's Leigh still on possession, ripping holes in the Saints defence at present. Number 3 there, I think that is John Henderson coming up there, but it's Dean, acting half-back. Is that the last tackle? Well, pass round the man, loose ball, Saints scoop it up, Paul Loughlin I think it is, dives on that loose ball. Larkin here, stepping up to the acting half-back position, well, he must have been offside, that man had to play the ball, but not being penalised. Paul Farber now, playing number 10, prop forward for Saints today, drives in. Dave Harrison stepping up, acting half-back position. Big prop, Stuart Evans, first man in, drives forward. Obviously he's going to get plenty of attention from the Leigh forwards today. This Arkwright, Roy Haggerty, good ball to Sean Allen. Give the support, Phil Beaver's there, but Sean Allen unable to play it. Dave Harrison quickly, in at the play the ball, onto Neil Holding. Onto Dave Tanner here, streaks through, inside to Kevin McCormack. Well, Phil Beaver's up there with him, but he just couldn't see him. And it's the first changeover, I think, of the match. So Leigh coming away down this right wing, Dave Tanner and Kevin McCormack quickly in there. Neil Holding injured there, had to play the ball. After that tackle, when he fed on, Tim Dakin out there treating him. The touch judge on the far side on there, consulting with referee Spencer, but Neil Holding flat out here. He's bringing somebody out from the Leigh side. Derek Pike there, captain for Leigh, demonstrating with him. So 10 minutes in the sin bin. So John Kerr there, receiving 10 minutes sin bin. But Neil Holding, very dazed there, but Saints being awarded the penalty from that late tackle. The Saints on the attack, Paul Farber. They'll have to convert this possession into points now. Dave Harrison stepping up, acting half-back, taking it right onto Chris Arkwright. Sees the gap, looking for the support. Dave Harrison again, Saints taking it right, onto Roy Haggerty. Streaming through Roy Haggerty. But the ball going down there, obviously knock on by Roy Haggerty. Only about 10 yards from the line. But it's going to be a scrum down with Leigh feed. Number 7, Mike Ford, it's a feed for Leigh. The scrum collapses. Referee Spencer obviously not satisfied with that, and we've got to pack down again. Finally packed the ball going with the feed. Saints quickly round there at the back of that scrum. Chris Arkwright broke quickly and was in there, tried to stem the Leigh attack. So it's number 12, Roy Haggerty, and Dave Harrison, I think it is. Yes, Dave Harrison, evergreen. Dave Harrison steps in there, so it's Brian Dunn for Leigh, coming through at full speed, but being brought down by some good Saints tackling, and Leigh bringing it to the right. Brian Gelling brought down just short of Saints 25. Ball back to Chris Johnson, kicking upfield for position. You see there with that breeze, Phil Beavers is up there, Dave Large as well. Phil Beavers stops it with his feet, gathers it, onto Dave Large. Well, here's his chance, drives into him. Leigh quickly down there at Saints end, peg him down in his own 25. Phil Beavers taking the acting half-back. Onto Kevin McCormack, over there on the right wing. Paul Loughlin acting half-back. The ball kicked through, had to play the ball. They've gone into touch. So Leigh putting the pressure on, turning the screw on Saints at present. It's going to be Neil holding to feed, and it's a scrum down about 15 yards from Saints' try line. The ball going with the feed. Chris Arkwright picking it up quickly. Stepping through the tremendous forward, this Arkwright, international forward for Saints. The ball now with Stuart Evans, receiving plenty of attention. Referee Spencer blowing up there for something he's seen in the tackle, I think. Yes, a penalty to Saints. Obviously plenty of attention going out to Saints' new signing. So the kick for touch, Hines touch midway between the halfway and Saints 25. Paul Farber coming up full speed, still going. One feeble Leigh tackle didn't bring him down. He steps further forward, finally being brought down by Gelling. There's one of them. A loose pass there, scooped up by Phil Beavers. Drives over to the right wing. Paul Loughlin stepping through. Lofty pass on to Dave Large. There's Large hurrying up this right wing. Inside. Oh, brilliant support there. Mark Elia coming behind the sticks to open Saints' account. Well, a brilliant try there. After a loose pass over here, midway between the halfway and Saints. Gathered up by Phil Beavers. He took it over. Fed on to Paul Loughlin. Who in turn fed on to Dave Large. He did well, he heard up that right wing, and then Mark Elia in support. David Large fed inside, and Mark Elia goes over behind the sticks. Nobody in sight on the Leigh side. Mark Elia's third try of the season. Paul Loughlin, just a formality now, drops it over right between the sticks, so Saints in the lead now, 6 points to 5 after that Paul Loughlin goal. Cup. Ball now with Paul Farber. Flicks it out to Mark Elia. On to Neil Holding. Lovely pass there to Roy Haggerty. Ends off one, going right up the middle, Roy Haggerty. Good live wire forward, this lad. Well, had his foot held there in his attempt to play the ball, but going unpenalised by referee Spencer, but Stuart Evans tags on the end of it. Dave Harrison acting half-back. Saints bringing it left. Mark Elia, quick ball, Neil Holding, quick hands, Dave Tanner, Kevin McCormack, up this left wing now. McCormack going for the line, can he outpace the defence? Oh, just brought down there. Well, what a try-saving tackle. But Saints on the attack now, Saints on the rampage. Offside at the play, the ball there. Not being moved so by referee Spencer. Last tackle now, Evans plays it right to Elia, on to Neil Holding. Lofty pass over to Phil Beavers. Overlap here. Well, it's all on. His Saints can gather it. It's a knock-on, that. No charge down. That's a knock-on. Well, unlucky there, Saints with a slight overlap, and should have made it count, but putting plenty of pressure on Leigh there, obviously, with just scoring. So it's a scrum down now, just on Leigh 25. With Neil Holding to feed, essentially we get the ball this time, 25 yards from Leigh try line, and trying to get further points on the board. Neil Holding to feed, ball coming with the feed. No, it's scooped up by the Leigh player. Well, a good deal obviously from the Leigh pack there. So Leigh in possession. Got the peg down in their own half, just outside their own 25. Short ball there. Short ball onto Adderton, that looked a hint of a forward pass, but referee Spencer lets it go. And Leigh kick downfield, heading for touch. Yes, finds touch in 25. Number 7 there, Mike Ford, ex-Wigan player, with a tremendous kick there. Saw the Saints players all up in the attack, saw the gap and booted it downfield. Found touch 10 yards inside Saints 25. So it's coming down with Neil Holding to feed again. 21 minutes of this game gone so far, and Saints with a slender 6 points to 5 lead. Neil Holding to feed. Referee Spencer blew up straight away. The Leigh hooker there right underneath. That orders them to farm again. Well, Saints penalised there. The Leigh pack not backing, and Saints penalised. Oh well. The Leigh man there went in and was rather aggressive. I don't. The lines went on there, and Mike Ford being brought over, and a penalty going Saints' way. Yes, obviously a bit of play acting on Ford's part. Thought he'd get a penalty. Obviously took a dive, and the linesman was in to assist the referee this time, and the Saints are getting the penalty. Took a dive. Well, referee Spencer indicating there that it was a dive, so Paul Loughlin to kick for touch. Well, you missed us that time, Paul, but we find touch midway between the halfway and the 25 in Saints half. Dave Harrison to restart. First man in, big prop, Stuart Evans, drives forward there, pushes the other Evans, Dave Evans, out of the way, travels forward, Dave Harrison onto Roy Haggerty, coming up the right hand, this left wing here on the blind side, Roy Haggerty, typical blockbusting run from this fella, this second rower, onto Chris Arkwright, looking for the gap, solidly tackling, bring him down, just in the Leigh half. Saints moving it to the right, onto Phil Beavers linking up with the line. Going crossfield, Paul Loughlin in support, feeds it inside to Tanner. Ball with Mark Healy now. There's the gap. Mark Healy heading for the line. Tremendous pace off this international Kiwi centre. And brought down there nearly through the Leigh defence. Saints on the attack, Saints on the rampage. Can they make it count now? The try essential now to put the pressure on this Leigh outfit. Paul Farber in possession. Brought down about 10 yards short. Well, it's the last tackle. Are we going to pop a drop goal over, or are we going to go for the try? Ball coming back to Neil Holding. Yes, drop goal attempt from Neil Holding. Yes, that's the way to do it. 23 minutes gone, and Neil Holding pops a drop goal over. So 7 points to 5, Saints in the lead now. That's the idea, as I said before, when Leigh pops a drop goal over, you get up at the opposite end. You've got to make it count, and these points could prove crucial by the time the final whistle comes. That ball not going the required 10 yards. Johnson kicks for touch, takes the penalty there, kicks for touch. So it's Leigh on Saints 25. Dummy movement there, Derek Pike coming through, I think it is, as it Brian Dunn. Big forward, driving towards Saints line. Leigh on the attack now, Ryan Gelling coming through. Solid tackling there, Chris Arkwright, Roy Haggerty, bring him down. So Leigh putting the pressure on Saints now. On with Derek Pike, changing direction to Mike Ford. Ryan Dunn linking up, lofted pass there. We're coming in field. But Saints tackling, holds out, forces him back. But still inside Saints 25, Dunn from the acting half-back, tries to go on his own. But so they bring him down about 10 yards short, but it's Leigh still putting the pressure. Ford kicking through. And the ball being knocked on by a Saints player, I think. So it's a scrum down about 10 yards from Leigh, the Saints try line. With Mike Ford to feed, I think. Yes, it's Leigh feed. Ford tried to grub her through, follow the kick up, and Saints hoop the ball. Saints coming away quickly, quick hands, Paul Loughlin. Paul Loughlin onto Tanner, the acting halfback onto Evans, flicks it out to Mark Elia. Mark Elia changing direction, but a good solid tackle there from Henderson. It's Roy Haggerty, one-handed pass to Mark Elia. Sage spreading it right. Overlap on the right here, perhaps for Sage. Chris Arkwright looking for the gap, trying to release the ball. It's brought down just short of the 25, but Sage trying to get out of their own 25 at present. Sean Allen looking for the way through. Paul Farber coming up, but couldn't release that ball. Quick play the ball from Saints. On to Mark Elia, lofted pass to Tanner, but he knocks on. Leigh man gathers it quickly, so it's Leigh possession. McCulloch goes down on that loose ball, and a loose ball from Leigh. Saints couldn't capitalise on that, but the ball now with Mike Ford. Back to Chris Johnson, linking up in the attack. Lofted pass to try scorer McCulloch. Tanner and McCormick quickly in there, bundle him down, but it's Leigh still in possession. As with the 3 tackles of this set of 6 to go. On to Mike Ford, taking it crossfield. Intercepted there by Sean Allen, and Saints taking it to the right. Paul Loughlin again. Rangy lad this Loughlin. Dave Large on the acting halfback, trying to go on his own. Solid tackling from the Leigh outfit, bundle him down. Paul Farber stepping up at the acting halfback position onto Stuart Evans, driving forward, some enthusiastic Leigh tackling there. Just bring him down, and Saints now. Neil Holding, change of direction, going over to the right wing. Tries to grub it through, with the ball going directly into touch. Not had much success with the touch finding kicks today. 28 minutes of this first half gone, and Saints with a slender 7 points to 5 lead. So leader brought down in their own half. Quick play up the Mark Elia. Leigh bringing it blindside. Derek Pike again, leading a real captain's part for Leigh. Flicks the ball out to Mike Ford. Inside to Henderson. Oh, a tremendous tackle there. Phil Beavers, try-saving tackle on this Henderson. We all know Henderson's pace from that Challenge Cup semi-final, but Leigh is spreading the ball. Quickly over there, overlap for Leigh. Yes, and Leigh in there for another try. Number 4, Ian Jeffrey, in the left-hand corner. Well, good play from Leigh there. Over here on the right, Derek Pike coming through, flicks the ball out, a lovely little flick ball to Mike Ford. They spread it right across the line, and Ian Jeffrey latching on to the end of it and going in there at the left-hand corner. Preliminary rounds of the Lancashire Cup. We've only played Leigh twice, like the earlier rounds, I should say, like the first or second rounds. We've only played them twice, that being in 1971 and 1978. When we won in 71 11-10 and lost in 78 21-4. All the other times we've met them have been either in the semi-finals or the finals. In 1963, you know, we run out winners 15-4 in the final, and in the 1970 final we lost 7 points to 4. So quite a healthy competition in this Lancashire Cup. But Saints to restart. Neil Holding kicks off. Leigh with a slight lead, 9 points to 7. McCulloch gathers the ball. Quick lad this McCulloch, brought down by Paul Farber with Sean Allen in support. And it's number 9 hooker Dean for Leigh, taking it crossfield. It was Brian Dunn driving in, but tremendous tackling from the Saints, holding them out at present. There's Dunn again, here he comes, flicks the ball out to number 10 Gelling. Well, certainly flicking this ball up Leigh, not frightened of throwing it about. But it's Dean, hooker for Leigh, feeds onto Mike Ford. Lofted pass onto McCulloch. one of the try scorers inside there to number 11 Pike, and hint of a forward pass on to number 7 Ford. But Saints penalised for attempting to dislodge the ball from the Leigh players' hands in the tackle and being penalised for it. So Chris Johnson stepping up there. Finds touch just inside Saints 25, so it's Dean. The hooker for Leigh. Taps it quickly. Brian Gelling coming from deep. Quickly in there, number 4, super tackle from Tanner, and Dave Harrison backing up. The ball now with Wayne Atherton. Steps through a feeble tackle there, but finally being brought down by Chris Arkwright and Sean Allen. But it's Leigh on the attack down at Saints end. Derek Pike in possession for Leigh. The ball going loose. It's Chris Arkwright gathers it up, taking it over to the right. And it's Saints in possession, but pegged down in their own 25. Neil Holding acting half-back onto Paul Farber, driving towards the Saints 25. Saints checking it right, onto Stuart Evans, driving forward. Solid tackle there, brings him down. There's the ball safely to Dave Harrison. Saints bringing it to the left, onto Roy Haggerty. Looking to release it, he'll take him on. Haggerty takes 2 and 3 and then tries to flick it out, but couldn't get it out this time, but it's Saints still in possession. On to Tanner, gathers that ball, a bullet pass from Mark Healy, but he's still going. Tanner finally brought down just short of 25. Last tackle of this set of 6 for Saints. Neil Holding taking it right. Lofted pass onto Paul Loughlin. Dave Large coming in field. Coming cross field, Dave Large flicks it out. Safely gathered. And Saints spreading it onto Evans. Onto Dave Harrison. Tries to kick for touch, but the ball going directly in there. It's a scrum down midway between the halfway and Saints 25. Is it? No, it's the handover. It was the 6th tackle, that's right. And under this new ruling, if any offence like that, the referee deems it as the 6th tackle. So it's Leigh quickly in attack. Onto Henderson, onto McCulloch. Did well to pick that up. An awkward ball, McCulloch, but it safely gathered it. Leigh still on the attack. Well, the ball going into touch there. In goal, I think, and Saints going to have to drop out from under the sticks. Just partially unsighted here, but the ball going obviously off a Saints player, a touching goal or a dead ball, so it's Neil Holding to drop out. Good kick from Neil Holding. Taken by Chris Johnson's full back for Leigh. Driving through, finally brought down by Farber. Sylvia was up in support, but it's Leigh putting the pressure on Saints this first half. It's been nearly all Leigh, except for that Mark Healy try in the 17th minute. Leigh on the attack again. Well, obstruction, hint of obstruction there. But referee Spencer not having anything. Number 8 forward Dave Evans coming through for Leigh. It's Leigh putting Saints under tremendous pressure. Leigh taking it right onto Ford, out to McCulloch. The ball going down. Knock on being ruled by referee Spencer, but it's still down there about 10 yards from Saints try line, and Leigh in a slight lead, 9 points to 7. So Neil Holding to feed. Scrum down 10 yards from Saints try line. Most of the game being played in this Saints half. The referee Spencer not happy with that scrum. He's going to make him do it again. About 5 minutes remaining of this first half. In goes the ball out Saints side. It's Kevin McCormack coming cross field. Tried to release that ball, but number 4 there, Jeffrey, blocking his way through. Ball now with Dave Tanner going cross field. Brought down, Leigh lying up very quickly. Ball on. Bad play the ball there from Saints. The ball in Leigh's hands. Ian Jeffrey in possession. Dean acting half-back for Leigh. Number 10 Gelling driving through. So Saints, the pressure on them again. 5 yards from their own line. And Leigh in possession onto Derek Pike. Short ball there. Obstruction there. Obstruction, yes. And rightly ruled so by referee Spencer. Well, it's the first time he's ruled it. So it's number 8 forward Dave Evans coming through. Obstruction by the Leigh outfit. And the Saints awarded the penalty. A bit of relief there for the Saints. Leigh piling the pressure on, but Mark Loughlin finds touch just outside the 25. Paul Farber, first man in. Beats one, but brought down here right in front of us. Dave Harrison takes the acting half-back position. Leigh moving up very quickly. Evans there, tremendous shouldering off Evans, pushes his counterpart and namesake Dave Evans out of the way. Dave Harrison, line side, looking for, well, Ryan Gelling in there, rather aggressive tackling from this ex-Saint and playing prop today for Leigh. He'll only run around with Chris Arkwright. Tries to release it, does so. Chris Arkwright, taken by Evans, flicks it over to Phil Beavers, linking up. Over there to Dave Tanner, linking up on the right-hand side. Tremendous pace off this Tanner, driving through, still going, released it to Paul Loughlin. Oh, tremendous play from Saints there, coming a full 50 yards. Well, back to the first tackle. Saints being ruled, so Saints to make it count. Dave Large in possession. Don't do anything silly now, Saints. They've got it all. Another 6 tackles to make it count. And they've gained a valuable 50, 60 yards there in that movement. On now to Sean Allen. Goes down on the Leigh 25, takes the tackle. So it's Saints putting pressure on the Leigh now. Creeping up to half-time, just about 3 minutes. Neil Holding inside to Roy Haggerty. One-handed pass, back pass to Dave Harrison. Brought down 15 yards, right in front of the sticks, 15 yards from Leigh line. Chris Arkwright acting half-back. Ball inside to Paul Farber, steaming in. Yes! Goes in there, right behind the sticks. Brilliant play there. Beavers there, I think it was. Flicked it up to Paul Farber. And coming from deep, he takes some pulling down. Well, any of these forwards from Saints coming from deep will take some pulling down. So Farber goes over there. With the goal. Well, there it goes. So Saints in the lead, 13 points to 9. First half remaining. Seesaw game here at Hilton Park, and the ball going being knocked on there. That's the play the ball. Unfortunately, Dave Harrison, the offender that time. Tremendous try from Paul Farber there. Block-busting run, driving through. Leigh penalised for collapsing the scrum. Saints quickly take the penalty and drive forward. Mark Elia coming away. Offside, forward again, and another 6 tackles. Knock the ball down. Well, referee Spencer not catching up on these Leigh offenders. Paul Farber tries to go there. Onto Stuart Evans. Dummies and drives through, brought down to the halfway. Well, it takes some pulling down, this lad. Well, Leigh hooking up to play the ball, and another 6 tackles again. But he's not waved it this time. The Leigh man kicks through. Obviously, Saints have to watch this play the ball with these Leigh players. Obviously, Billy Bennion got them fired up for this Lancashire Cup tie. The Saints now with Mark Elia. That's standoff today for Saints. Pike forward quickly in there. Is it though? It's number 11, Derek Pike, quickly in there and signalling the last tackle. Well, it's all on again. He's waved them off that time, and rightly so. Well, Leigh there, cocking themselves up at that play the ball. It's David Large up the right wing. Another 6 tackles for Saints to make it count. In injury time, I make it now, but Saints see they can put points on the board just before half-time. Quick play the ball here. Neil Holding up there. Going blindside. Well, Neil Holding goes on his own, brought down on the Leigh 25. Dave Harrison steps up, acting half-back, brings it left. To Paul Farber, to Roy Haggerty, steps off 1 foot, goes down with the tackle. Saints now going to spread it out. Onto Chris Arkwright. Overlap on the right here. Mark Elia coming up from pace. stretching through, he's in there in the corner, Healy into the corner, brilliant try for Saints in the first minute of injury time. Saints putting him on the rack there. And Chris Arkwright saw the gap. Leigh bunched over on the right. Arkwright saw the gap. Healy coming from deep. Slipped onto that ball off Chris Arkwright and going in here at the left-hand corner. Please the Saints. Alec Murphy here down on the touchline, geeing them up. That's the way to do it. A tremendous score. Well, it's crucial score, as you know, if you score just before half-time or just after. I mean, that's in a close game like this, it's another nail in the coffin. So it's 17 points to 9 at present. Paul Loughlin steps up there, looks to the right, that one. Unsuccessful this time. And there goes the hooter. So tremendous first half for Saints. 17 points to 9 going in at half-time with the tries from Elia 2, Paul Farber, 2 Paul Loughlin goals and a holding drop goal.
The third annual Rodstock War of the Roses at Central Park, Wigan, is the most vital of the three so far. Yorkshire won the first two so convincingly, with allegations that Lancashire weren't really trying, that Lancashire have got to win this one to win back some prestige and self-respect. Even the fact that Henderson Gill and Ellery Hanley were among the try scorers for Yorkshire didn't take away the bitter taste of defeat for Lancashire. There were suggestions, as I've said, that some of the Lancashire players were not pulling their weight, weren't showing county pride in the first two games, and Peter Fox would be the first to agree that Yorkshire's full 15, 13 plus 2 substitutes, did play their hearts out for the wearers of the White Rose.
Our lads will be keen to win the match. To win 3 on a trot is some sort of a record, and we know that Lancashire will be all out to stop us. If they're not, then they lack the motivation for rugby at the top level.
So is this year the time when the Red Rose county discovers its pride, when the 15 wearers of the Red Rose jersey go out there and play for their county and win at last? Alex Murphy says they will. And Alec, do you think you can win this one at last?
Yes, I do, and like I say, if we perform like we can do on the day, I don't think there'll be a problem. But we've got to go out and want to play for Lancashire.
Last season was a good one. The game's on the up and up. This year it'll be even better. True, we've lost some giants. They were a credit to the game. But we've also found some young'uns. They promise to be the same. That's what the big game's all about. It happens every year. We lose a few of our heroes, but find others who know no fear. We see them give it all they know. We see them give it their best shots. 'Cause whether unknown or famous, you gotta give it all you got. That season was a good one. We saw a big man walking tall. But who will it be this year to collect the greatest prize of all?
A couple of substitutions, both at half-time.
We have to
Saints.
substitute, ladies and gentlemen.
Doherty coming on for Neil Holding.
For Neil Holding at number 7.
And on the Leigh side,
And on the Leigh side, we have Phil Johnson replacing Ian Jeffries.
well, as you just heard there on the PA system, Leigh substitute Johnson. Phil Johnson coming on for Jeffrey in the centre. So it's Leigh to restart. Saints playing with the wind this half with a 17 points to 9 lead. 2 tries from Elia, 1 from Farber, 2 Paul Loughlin goals and a Neil Holding drop goal. David Large coming in fielder at speed, being bundled down by Evans for Leigh. Al Farber trying to come through there quickly onto Chris Arkwright, trying to release the ball, but Alberton, loose forward for Leigh, bundles him down. To Mark Elia, onto Stuart Evans. Been well marshalled today, but obviously needs time to get back, to get into this game. Leigh there, obviously trying to capitalise on Evans at the play the ball, but they come unstuck this time. The ball going back to Saints and another 6 tackles ruled by referee Spencer. Dave Harrison acting half-back. Saints taking it left. Chris Arkwright sees the gap, straightens up. 3 4-man Leigh tattlers in there, bundle him down. Leigh line up very quickly. Dave Harrison acting half-back. Taking it left onto Farber, coming through at pace, going diagonally. Brought down 10 yards short of the halfway line. The Saints now bringing it right. Into Evans, driving into him. Takes some pulling down this lad, and it's the last tackle of this set of 6 for Saints. Phil Weaver stepping up, acting half-back. Ball back to Paul Loughlin. Kicked it downfield with the aid of this breeze. Well, looks like it's going dead. Yes, so it's going to be a 25-yard restart for Leigh. A tap out. And they've got a restart on their own 25. Well, in the league, both teams with just 1 win from 2 games and 2 points. Well, it's a different situation in the cup competition. Leigh lucky at the end of last season to stop up in the First Division, but did so. Very harrowing time for coach Billy Benyon, but they finally came through. And Oldham took the drop as one of the teams farther up the league. But it's Leigh in possession. Onto Mike Ford, Grubbers for touch. Phil Weaver's there chasing the ball. Will he gather it before it goes in touch? No, just can't reach that ball. A scything kick there from Mike Ford. As I said, both with 2 points, Leigh going down 38 points to 12 at Leeds, and then last week winning here at Tilton Park 14 points to 6, with the Saints going down 20 points to 10 at Castleford, and then convincing win 31-16 at Nosey Road, the first match at Nosey Road last Sunday. Saints win the scrum, come away with the ball. It's Arkwright, spreads it out. Substitute back Paul Doherty, quickly in there. Onto Stuart Evans. Some bringing down, he's just driving to him. Obviously taking a little time to get in the game. It's a different game for the forwards. Sean Allen onto Roy Haggerty. Ball coming back, well, it's all on, yes. It touched the Leigh man, that's all on, but the Leigh fans don't agree. But it's right, it came off the Leigh man, off Roy Haggerty swinging it out, and Haggerty in possession again. Still going Haggerty, takes some pulling down this fella, brought down 10 yards short of the halfway line. Dave Harrison acting half-back, taking it left. This Arkwright onto Mark Elia. Leigh quickly up there, number 14, Phil Johnson quickly in there, bundles Elia down. And it's Chris Arkwright acting half-back. Saints moving it to the left. Phil Weaver's linking up there, lofted ball. Leigh gather the loose ball, but it's a scrum down, I think. Referee ruling a knock-on. Yes, scrum down here. Referee ruling a knock-on. Number 6, Kerr, just coming down here for treatment. Looks to have a slight eye injury, but he's going back on the field. And a scrum down with Paul Doherty to feed. And referee Spencer can get the scrum packed to his liking. Leigh keep turning the scrum to the left. They're still not satisfied with it. The ball going in, coming out the Leigh side. He's asking the packs to part now. The scrum's been very shabby today. Obviously, lack of discipline from the referee. The ball going with the feed. Doherty comes away with it, round the blind side. So Saints in possession. Stuart Evans driving through. Two Leigh tattlers bring him down midway between the halfway and Saints 25, with Dave Harrison stepping up at the active half-back position. Over to Chris Arkwright, straighten up, looking for the gap. Feeds on to Mark Elia, but the ball goes down. Good pass from Chris Arkwright, unfortunately Mark Elia couldn't gather it. Leigh trying to make a substitution now. Collier coming on for number 6, Kerr. Obviously Kerr with an eye injury, he did go back on, but...
the doctor, please. The lead doctor.
It's a scrum down 10 yards outside Saints 25, with Mike Ford to feed. Wins the scrum, comes round the blind side. Taken down quickly there by Chris Arkwright and Paul Doherty in support, but it's Leigh on the attack. On to Brian Gelling, taken down by Royalty. Flicks it up to number 1, Chris Johnson, and Leigh spreading the ball. On to Dave Evans. Tremendous turn of pace there from a standing start from this Leigh number 8. It's number 9, Dean now, the hooker, going from the acting half-back position. And it's Leigh on the attack, putting pressure on Saints. First pressure of this second half. They lose the ball there to knock on. Saints couldn't gather that ball from that loose pass by the Leigh man. 6 minutes of this second half gone, and the score still 17 points to 9 in Saints' favour. And we're scrumming down about 10 yards from Leigh Saints try line, and Saints penalised for an offence at the scrum. It's a differential penalty, you can't go for goal. So it's Dean, the hooker, quickly plays the ball onto number 10, Brian Gelling, brought down feet short of the Saints try line, of the Leigh try line I should say. Saints have the ball, try and get away. Obviously Leigh tried to fling it out on the Saints line. Saints quickly gathered that ball, but obviously the referee seen a knock-on from the Saints player. Well, it's a scrum down 10 yards from Leigh line. With number 14, Phil Johnson, taking over the scrum half roll, and Leigh penalised at the scrum. There's Paul Loughlin stepping up. Finds touch, more or less right on the 25. So Saints possession, Dave Harrison to restart. First man in, Paul Farber. Derek Pike and Dave Evans in there, but finally bundle him down at the second attempt with the help of Dean. Well, the lad's struggling there, Farber struggling, and the referee stood there and not taking any action whatsoever. Haggerty here on a block-bursting run, onto Paul Loughlin. Right in front of us here, just finds being brought down inside the Leigh half. Dave Harrison plays it left. On to Paul Doherty, sees the gap, tries to get round the man. The ball's loose, Leigh gather it. Taken by number 12, Brian Dunn, on to Derek Pike. Captain for Leigh. Finally being brought down by Mark Elia and Phil Vevers. Leigh in possession, on to substitute back Phil Johnson. Well, a super tackle there from Farber, solid tackle from this man. And definitely have felt that tackle, the Leigh player. On to Ford, short ball there, but being knocked down. Roy Haggerty gathers it. There's it on to Stuart Evans coming up with him, but knock on being ruled. Good quick play from Haggerty there. Scrum down midway between the Saints 25 and the halfway line, with number 14 Phil Johnson, who's taken over as the scrum half to feed. Well, he goes in for the ball. Doherty quickly round and bangs him to the ground. So referee Spencer stops the game. He's going to have a word with Paul Doherty. The game temporarily stopped, and it's a penalty to Leigh. And he's going for goal. It's Chris Johnson going to have a go for goal to reduce the deficit. Or should I say attempt to reduce the deficit. Well, this big prop Stuart Evans obviously feeling his way out today. There's a big change from the Rugby Union code to the Rugby League code. And he's not playing so bad today. He's just get a bit of gen off Alex Murphy and the other lads during the week. So it's Chris Johnson stepping up. It's a flapper, as Eddie Waring would say. It's a flapper, but I don't know whether it was ruled dead or with Phil Beavers knocking on behind his own in-goal area. So it's going to be a drop out from in front of the sticks. Phil Beavers to take the drop out. Good kick from Beavers into Leigh half, taken by substitute forward Andy Collier. His first touch of the ball here, driving forward, brought down by Dave Harrison and Paul Farber. And Leigh taking it right, well, closing this Leigh side down. We'll have to do, they've been closing us down in the early 20 minutes of the first half, lying up in offside position but not being penalised, so, and it's Saints will have to close them down now, ensure that they don't get anywhere near the try line. But it's Leigh spreading it onto number 12, Dunn. Farber in there, and Saints gather the ball. Is it Dave Harrison? Yes, Dave Harrison, well, he's in there at anything. This ex-Waterloo hooker. Tremendous work rate, workhorse, tackle count, you name it. Well, Leigh kicking through it to play the ball. Chris Arkwright coming away with it. Can't release it. Well, he's ordered a scrum down. He said, referee said he'd shouted L. Well, that's a penalty in my book. If he shouted L and the player pinches the ball, that's a penalty to the opposing side. But he's ordered a scrum this time. Well, another bad decision of referee Spencer. But it's ball Doherty to feed. The ball going with the feed. But he's penalised for feeding. So penalty going Leigh way. Another differential penalty to Leigh. So it's Phil Johnson to take the penalty kick to touch. Finds touch on the 25. So it's Leigh 25 yards from Saints line. Trying to put some pressure on Saints and losing at present 17 points to 9. 13 minutes of this second half played and no score this second half. Well, penalised Saints there for offside, being within 5 yards of they play the ball. I don't know where they get these referees from. They make their own rules up, I think. But he is eligible for going for goal this time from an offside decision. And Phil Johnson, substitute back for Leigh, going to step up slightly to the left of the post, but more or less in a direct line. Shouldn't have much problem with it. So Phil Johnson stepping up there, see if he can reduce the deficit now. 17 points to 9 at present in Saints' favour. And he slots it between the sticks there, so 14 minutes of this second half. Substitute back Phil Johnson with a penalty goal. Obviously the tie of the round in this first round Lancashire Cup. So Leigh there, not frightened of spreading the ball. Flinging it out there, but Saints quickly in there, stemming the flow, and the Leigh man's brought down midway between the halfway and their own 25. Brian Gelling stepping in, first man in. Texan pulling down this lad, big forward, but Leigh there spreading the ball. Not frightened of throwing it about and giving it plenty of air. Leigh man driving in there, brought down just short of the halfway line. Dean, acting half-back. Onto Pike, captain for Leigh. Takes him on, 2 and 3, and releases the ball. Onto Ford, Dunn linking up there. Collier trying to link in. Ford kicking it through onto Johnson. Full back Chris Johnson. Brought down right in front of us. It's the last tackle now for Leigh. On to Mike Ford. Grubbers through. Sees a chink in the Saints' armour and grubbers through and finds touch. 10 yards inside the Saints' 25. So Leigh putting a bit of pressure on the Saints there on the 6th tackle. Referee Spencer tying his boot and substitute back Phil Johnson trying to attract his attention to something, but referee Spencer's not having anything to do with it. So it's Paul Doherty to feed. The scrum 10 yards to Saints try line. The ball going in. Coming with the feed. Doherty round the blind side, is it? No, Chris Arkwright's picked it up and come round the blind side. So Saints taking the scrums 3-2, 3-1 the second half. Leigh lining up very well and not being penalised for it. Roy Haggerty in possession. Flicks it up to Dave Harrison. Sees the gap, drives forward. Harrison going on his own. Leigh had to get back quickly there to tackle him. But Saints moving it left. On to Sean Allen. Beavers linking up in the line. Brought down just short of the halfway. Saints putting it together now, flinging this ball out. On to Mark Elia. Chris Arkwright. Sees the gap, tries to straighten up. Look to release the ball, but it's the last tackle now for Saints. Dave Harrison acting half-back. Ball coming back to Paul Loughlin. Kicks it upfield. It's going to run dead again. Yes, obviously with the aid of this slight breeze. And it's going to be a 25-yard restart for Leigh, but Saints have got them down at that end. They've got to tackle them down for these 6 tackles, keep them down at that end, and up to regain the ball and capitalise. So it's Dean, hooker for Leigh, playing the ball to himself, driving away, gains a valuable 10 yards. Brian Gelling now in possession. Allen and Farber quickly in there. Leigh again. So number 11, I think that is, Derek Pike over there on the right wing for Leigh, the Leigh right wing. Leigh spreading it left. Lofted pass onto forward, is it? Just can't make out, but Haggerty, Elia and Arkwright bundle him down. Onto Derek Pike, inside pass. Gathered by Paul Loughlin. Can he outpace? Forward to the line, yes, he's got it into the corner. Brilliant work by Loughlin there. In the 18th minute, and I think it was Derek Pike over here, just in front of us, tried one of these fancy back passes. It didn't come off. It didn't come off, and Paul Loughlin gathered and outpaced number 7, Mike Ford, with number 5, Standish, as well. For Paul Loughlin, but he has got the aid of the breeze this time, well within his capabilities. Already kicked 2 today and 8 so far this season in the other games, so a tally of 10 at present. There he is now, Paul Loughlin, stepping up to convert his own try, hopefully. No, goes to the left. So 21 points to 11 in Saints' favour. A commanding lead for Saints now, 10 points, and Leigh quickly up to restart the game. Well, Leigh putting the Saints under a bit of pressure there, and a loose ball from Derek Pike, I think it was, being snapped up by Loughlin, and he showed a clean pair of heels to the Leigh defence and put Saints further in the lead. As Loughlin now gathers the ball from the kick-off. Good rangy lad, this Loughlin, future international at full rate. A very good possibility. Already international at under 21 level. It's Dave Harrison, this live wire workhorse for Saints, coming through. Paul Doherty acting half-back, on to Stuart Evans. Had a quiet game, Evans, but I'm sure when we get in attacking positions close to the line, you'll see a lot of this fella. Roy Haggerty stepping through, trying to release the ball. Dave Harrison in support, but a good Leigh tackle from Wayne Atherton. I think it is the loose forward. No, it's number 12, Brian Dunn, brings him down. Saints still in possession, brought down just short of the halfway line. Last tackle for Saints in this set of 6. Dave Harrison feeds it to Paul Loughlin, kicks it upfield. That's it again. The ball not going dead this time, is it? Yes, finally running dead, so they're going to restart on their own 25. Well, we get an action replay of what we got last time. Leigh fumbling the ball on the 6th tackle. It's Leigh to restart. Brian Gelling, first man in. Dave Harrison round the legs as usual. Paul Farber helping there in the tackle. Forward now, taken down by Chris Arkwright, but he flicks it up to Brian Dunn, I think it is. It's a good solid tackle in there. Chris Arkwright bundles into ground, and Leigh bringing it to their left. Derek Pike there. And Saints on the attack. Saints pressurising the Leigh man now, putting them into errors, and Atherton feeding on to substitute forward Collier. Solid tackle from Arkwright and Farber, and Leigh moving it to the right. Little chip kick through by forward. Phil Vivers gathers it. Knock on being ruled. Well, Vivers facing his own line, but knock on being ruled. I don't know how he gets that, but that's the decision. So it's a scrum down 10 yards into Saints half with Phil Johnson to feed. Ball going with the feed. Hooked cleanly that time. Mark Elia quickly in there. An obstruction there by forward at the play the ball. Mark Elia unable to get past him. It's Leigh on the attack. Brian Gelling now. Flicks the ball up, a loose ball gathered by Stuart Evans. Gathers it safely, turns round from a standing start and drives forward. Stuart Evans plays the ball. Phil Vivers acting half-back onto Roy Haggerty. Steps one way, then the other. Good forward this Haggerty, and slipped the ball out. Knock on being ruled by referee Spencer. 23 minutes of this second half gone, and Saints in a commanding 21 points to 11 lead. Scrum down midway between the 25, Saints 25 and the halfway line. Brilliant sunny day here at Silton Park, and the pitch looking in the immaculate condition. But it's Phil Johnson feeding the scrum there, ball coming with the feed. Leigh putting the pressure on. Saints tackling holds firm. Well, Saints penalised there. Had to play the ball, and the ball being quickly taken. Pike for Leigh. Onto Atherton. But Paul Doherty and Sean Holland. Paul Farber have him. But it's Leigh putting the pressure on. Pike flicks it inside. So number 10 Gelling. Leigh putting the pressure on now, only about 5 yards, 10 yards from Saints try line. First time they've been near it this second half. Overlap here. Henderson trying to go on his own. Well, yes, he does get in. Kevin McCormack over there with I think it's Chris Arkwright and Phil Vivers, but Henderson goes in. Leigh coming back into it. Stuck him 25 minutes, near enough of the second half to get into the game. So it's Phil Johnson now, substitute back for Leigh, lining up for this conversion to that Henderson try. Yes. Well, just one try separating, 4 points separating the two teams now. 21 points to 17 in Saints' favour. Quarter of an hour of this game remaining. Well, the next score is going to be crucial. Phil Vivers to kick off. Taken by number 5, Standish, left winger. For Leigh, Chris Arkwright and Paul Loughlin quickly in there. Ryan Gelling now in possession for Leigh. Stuart Evans, Paul Farber and Dave Harrison combined, 3 front rowers, take him down. Dean, Hooker onto Atherton, intercepted by Roy Haggerty. Looking for support. Oh, Roy Haggerty lost the ball there. Leigh quickly in there, but to referee Spencer's rule, I think. Must have been a knock-on in there. Well, we were just waiting to see what the referee's given. Well, he's talking to Stuart Evans now, but say it's been penalised. I don't know for the life of me what that was for. Well, they missed us that time. Keep having a go at us with these balls, but it's Leigh in possession. Number 8, Evans there, taking it right for Leigh. Dean stepping up, acting half-back, Hooker for Leigh, and Leigh moving it right. Onto forward. Ryan Dunn coming through from deep. Runs on, well, not being adjudged to have been tackled, and Dunn gets up and goes forward. Runs onto short balls, this Dunn. But it's Leigh in possession, coming left. Loss of momentum there for Leigh. And substitute Phil Johnson going to the line. Can he make it? Brought down short. Oh. Leigh go in there. A try for Leigh in the left-hand corner. Good work from this Leigh outfit. Quickly spread it and go in left. Wayne Standish that was going over in this left-hand corner. In a hole for the ball, it's usually on with the mound of sand, but he's one of the old-fashioned type kickers. 29 minutes of this second half gone, and 21 points each. Well, here he is, finally lining up. This is a crucial kick for Phil Johnson. Tremendous pressure kick. He lines up. Looks good. Yes, in off the upright. Leigh with the tails up, obviously. Short ball there. On to number 7. Forward. Finally bundled down. St. Tafflin have to hold out now. And Leigh moving it right. Derek Pipe, captain for Leigh. Finally brought down. Chris Arkwright and Dave Harrison. Saints with an injury problem out there. Sean Allen with an injured back. The ball now with Mike Ford. Kicks upfield. Phil Beaver has to turn round, but he gathers the ball 10 yards from his own line and drives forward. Takes the tackle. Leigh putting plenty of pressure on the Saints now. Saints pegged down in their own 25 and moving it to the left. Just 10 minutes of this game remaining and 23 points to 21 in Leigh favour. Loose ball there. Gathered by Leigh. Back to Phil Johnson, linking up. Going crossfield. Roy Haggerty finally has him. No nonsense there, didn't take the dummy Haggerty and bundled him down. But it's Leigh in possession, 25 yards from Saints line. Ryan Gelling turned round, releases it to Dunn. Onto forward, Mike Ford. Obstruction there from Leigh, but it's going unnoticed. Paul Loughlin finally coming in to complete the tackle. Leigh taking it to the right. Derek Pike, substitute forward. Put him Wayne Atherton, it was. Put him in a big hole there, Atherton. The ball going out there to McCulloch, but he couldn't gather it. He knocked on. It created a big gap over there on the right-hand side. It was Derek Pike put Wayne Atherton in a big hole. He took it over to the right, but McCulloch couldn't gather that ball. It was rather high. If he had done it, it'd been a certain try for Leigh. But the score still 23-21 in Leigh favour. Ball Doherty to feed this scrum. The ball coming with the feed. The Leigh scrum half not retiring again, but Saints come away with the ball. They're pegged down in their own 25, they've a long way to go, but Roy Haggerty running from deep and at speed, drives through but brought down. Dave Harrison acting half-back, quick hands onto Mark Elia. After ball onto Tanner, the ball finally kicked into touch, but a knock-on being ruled on the Saints 25. Leigh putting all the pressure on this second half, going in at half-time with a 17 points to 9 deficit. Saints just putting one try on the board from Paul Loughlin, and Leigh piling up the points this second half. The ball comes through there, but it's knocked on by Mike Ford. Puts a scrum down. Just 10 yards outside Saints 25. Paul Doherty to feed, the ball coming Saints. Mark Elia putting the pace on. Paul Loughlin coming inside, but he couldn't turn round Elia to release that ball. And Leigh lining up very quickly. Atherton and Pike quickly in there. The Saints play the ball, take it left. Roy Haggerty, change your direction, get it Pike quickly in there, bundle him down, short of the halfway. Dave Harrison acting half-back, and Leigh lining up, moving up very quickly. Chris Arkwright sees the gap, feeds it inside to Paul Doherty, looking for support, Evans on the inside, Arkwright over there. A lofty pass from Arkwright, but intercepted by Phil Johnson there. So Leigh in possession, but they're pegged down in their own 25. And it's Wayne Standish, last try scorer for Leigh. With the ball at present, Dean, Hooker acting half-back, change your direction from Leigh, taking it over to the right wing onto Ryan Gelling. So Saints will have to keep them down, peg them down in their own half. Just about 5.5 minutes in this game remaining. Leigh breakthrough, Phil Johnson, I think it's it. Chris Johnson, I should say, looking for support, takes it over there, Andy Collier in support. Is it? And Leigh going at the right-hand corner for a try. Collier. So Collier going in there. Tremendous second half performance from the Leigh outfit. 18 points they've tagged up in this second half with just a 4-point reply from Saints. And another pressure kick from substitute back Phil Johnson. If he kicks this, I would imagine he'll put it beyond doubt. 6 points at present, the gap. And what a tremendous game here. Well, the last time Saints won the Lancashire Cup, it was under the reins of Billy Brennan, the now Leigh coach. Obviously he'll be pleased with his side performance this afternoon. So it's Phil Johnson stepping up now to convert this Collier try if he can. So he's taking it across the face of the goal. So 27 points to 21, Leigh in the lead. About 4 minutes of the game remaining, and the Saints with it all to do now. They need 2 scores, a converted try, and another score for a win. Bill Beavers, Grubbers off. Taken by Mike Ford. Feeds on to Atherton. A loose forward for Leigh. Solid Saints tackling there, Doherty, Arkwright and Haggerty bundle him down. Hooker, Dean coming away from the acting half-back position. It's Ford now, that's acting half-back, feeds it inside to Brian Gelling. Steaming through, full and running these Leigh forwards. So Dean takes it right. Onto Pike, captain for Leigh, spreads it out, he takes him on Pike. He in the tackle and feed it out. But Leigh putting it together down, out with right forward, takes it right again. Leigh going in to the right hand wing. Number 2 McCulloch there, speedy lad. But it's been all Leigh this second half. It took them 25 minutes to come to, but they've certainly put it together in a 10-minute spell. It's a scrum down now, 10 yards from Saints try line. Time running out for Saints, just about 2 minutes of this game remaining. There's Paul Doherty to feed, while going with the feed. Well, Leigh scrum half quickly round again. Don't think he retired that time again, but Saints coming away. Roy Haggerty. Roy Haggerty now being brought down in his own 25. Well, offside that Leigh man. Well, don't tell me he's actually penalised him. My word, I think that must be the first time that they played the ball that he's actually penalised him. And not before time. They always start penalising you and giving you the penalties when it's too late, don't they? But Paul Loughlin, fine touch, 10 yards short of the halfway. It's Saints onto Stuart Evans, flicks it back to Paul Doherty, in turn onto Roy Haggerty. Sean Allen coming from deep. But Leigh tackling, very good, quickly in there. Saints here moving up. Doherty coming up with a mix-up with Chris Arkwright. The ball goes down and Leigh in possession. Derek Pike from the acting half-back position takes it away. Finally flicks it out. Chris Johnson, full-back for Leigh, takes the ball. Drives forward, brought down by Arkwright. Doherty and Dave Harrison. Well, it's looking good for Leigh now. Only about a minute and a half remaining. Ryan Dunn hurrying through. The Saints defending onto Mike Ford, onto Brian Gelling. Loses the ball, Phil Vivers gathers it. Saints possession. Paul Doherty acting half-back. Takes it left onto Roy Haggerty. Comes back inside, coming through, and lets it go to Evans. Did well to take that ball, Evans. One-handed onto Dave Harrison. Still going, Dave Harrison. Just bottled up over on the right here. Phil Vivers taking it left. Doherty, Chris Arkwright, onto Sean Allen. Dummies one way, but brought down midfield. Well, it's all on full time now. Mark Elia. Lofted pass. Comes into touch, and there's the final hooter. Leigh running out winners, 27 points to 21. Saints points coming from 2 tries from Mark Elia, Paul Farber try, Loughlin try, 2 Loughlin goals, and a drop goal by Neil Holding.
This is your link to PWL Electronics, and I would like to remind you also.
So Saints out at the first round of the Lancashire Cup there, 27 points to 21. Leigh only coming to life after 25 minutes of the second half. So Leigh going through for tomorrow's draw. A loose pass there, scooped up by Phil Vivers. Drives over to the right wing. Paul Loughlin stepping through. Lofted pass onto Dave Large. There's Large hurrying up this right wing. Inside. Oh, brilliant support there. Mark Elia coming behind the sticks to open Saints' account. Well, a brilliant try there. After a loose pass over here, midway between the halfway and Saints. Gathered up by Phil Vivers. He took it over. Fed on to Paul Loughlin. Who in turn fed on to Dave Large. He did well. He hurried up that right wing. 15 yards from Leigh line. Chris Arkwright acting halfback. Ball inside to Paul Farber, steaming it. Yes! Goes in there right behind the sticks. Brilliant play there. Vivers there, I think it was. Flicked it up to Paul Farber. And coming through deep.
Thank you.